Welcome to another episode of an astrology astro report with our sister Inez on the Launch Your Light podcast. It's for the
Hi.
mystical magical woman who is here to share her soul purpose. And I'm so excited because I did the math. This is our sixth one, right? Did we start in
I
June?
think so. I always say I don't have a very good timeline, as in linear timeline in my brain,
Yeah,
but I can feel it's like five or six. That's the feeling I
I
get.
think we started in June, right? June, July,
Okay, it's
August, September,
possible. Oh,
October,
yes, yes,
November.
yes.
And I agree. I was laughing with a friend today. I'm like, it's almost like when you look at linear time like that and you're like, whoa, we've done this for half a year.
June. Yeah.
Wow. Celebrating us in this moment. This was an idea and it took a while to land. It took more than 6 months for it to land. And now we're doing it and the flow is so simple and beautiful, you know?
I love that. I love when the idea came, we were both like in our own spaces still, but it felt really strong. And it felt like it will come one day. And this is how I like when things come through, especially, yeah, also connecting with the new moon energy and just letting things go and letting things like arise easily, like this ease that we have with each other and with the energy of the flow of the podcast itself and the information that comes. I love it. It brings me joy. It brings
Mm.
me joy to be of service. Like that's the intention behind this anyway. So yes, yes to
I
everything.
I hope that serves as a permission slip to someone hearing this that has a little side passion project they want to do. Like this is extra for me and Inez. This is fun. This has
Yeah.
nothing to do really with, let's say, our work. Of course, we showcase and share what we do, but this is fun. This is like for our soul. This is for our relationship and our soul contract here. You know? So, and I know other people listening to this. So like I know I have a fun little thing inside me that wants to come out. And maybe you're looking for the right person to do that with or yourself, but do it. It doesn't all need to resort back to business. It doesn't all need to point back to money. It doesn't need to do that. That will naturally enable, help, support, nurture as it needs to. But some of us have just passion projects to get out to.
Yeah, and they can turn into whatever they are supposed to. And I read some today somewhere the note it was really well said about the soul purpose. It said it's not what you do, it's what happens within others when you are naturally doing what you're supposed to do in the world. It's
Oh,
the gift and the medicine and the healing and the light that naturally flows out of you when you do what you're supposed to be doing.
mm.
And I think this energy, oh my God, I got goosebumps just saying that. I was like, did a little prayer today before this. I was like, just let me be a channel for like medicine for myself and for the whoever needs to hear.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And I think this new, so we are doing these, but also these episodes on the day, really potent days. Like last
Mm.
time was something,
Hmm.
which felt like last time was something. And this time it's the new moon in Scorpio. We are in Scorpio season. There is a really like deep, like when what you said before we started, there's a deep raw really beautiful energy, but it's very raw because like it's going into, it's like composting the old, and there's decay and death and transformation, and there's something beautiful that's coming out, like empower me, like I feel something that's grounded in power, in a personal power, in inspiration, in passion, like connected to all of what you said, right?
I feel like there's so many themes that want to come through on this call today too. What's a few themes off the top of your head that you know are coming up, or some of the astro insights? Because I feel like one of them I do want to bring up, and hopefully we can remember, is talking about the tension of opposites. I feel like that's a good one right now. All the scorpionic energy. I love how you brought up the decay and the death. As a Celtic person who follows the Celtic Wheel of the Year, this was technically, the new year type of energy. And
Mhm.
being in that like lead up of the darkness before the light comes. That's when Celtic belief, like our belief in working with nature, that's when things really start. So, and I've been teaching people and working through right now, like that the beginning, like the start is already here for the new thing. As we're watching a lot of release and death and endings come,
Yeah.
the new is already being rebuilt.
Yeah.
And it's right, there's like a lot of that. It just seems like there's so many themes, and we've been having warm weather here. Warm weather, warm winds. That has been another theme. Like the theme
Mm.
of warm
I like-
wind, you know? And we've got these
Yeah.
big leaves falling everywhere. Oh, there's just like so much. There's so much going on in the earth. And then cosmically and being supported, I just had this is like my ADHD like list just like falling out of my head, but I did
Yo,
a 3 hour ancestral ceremony, silent ceremony for women last
love that.
Sunday,
Yeah, I saw that.
and we cleared 1022 ancestors, 9 generations back on both the maternal and the paternal lines. Oh my
It
God.
makes my body just like fill up with like, yes, yes.
And like I work with ancestors. I've been working with ancestors for years, for decades, it feels like, right? And it's like
Yeah.
we are so supported, and no one's reaching back into these dimensions for that support. So I feel like that could be a talk. Oh God, there's a lot. So that's just what came out of me. How are you?
I think just let it flow, whatever flows. There is a lot of, and then we just let it flow. I will share this astrology, and I like when you share there's depth happening. Like you have planets in the 12th house, so you're very and also the veil is very thin with where we are.
Mhm.
So a lot of things will come through, and I'm just trusting. So what you said about the opposites, the one thing,
Mm,
because so Pluto it will be opposite Mars for
mm,
the next 6 months. So there is this tension. There is
mm.
Pluto, Mars is now in Cancer. It's gonna go in Leo. Um, the dates. Oh, me and the dates.
It's
Proud
my
with the
favorite.
dates. So Mars is in Cancer right now. Mars enters Leo on November 5th. So then we will feel,
Mm,
we'll talk a little bit about this and then we'll go back to what comes up for you, okay?
yeah, yeah.
Because this is a big one. And then we kind of, in the
Great,
background, we can just let the Scorpio energy come through. And
great.
also, talking about the new moon, like I feel it really differently. I woke up and it's just like, I want to be like, oh, because just from a personal, like if someone's feeling it very deep, I have the new moon conjunct my moon in Scorpio conjunct Jupiter. So like the
Oof.
transformation that I've experienced is like I can even see. So there is a really big theme of we are connecting and allowing new parts of our higher self, of our
Mm,
bigger, like this come in and be unlocked. That's why I feel even some parts of my personality are very different and very enjoyable, like very joyful, very strong, very grounded. So this is what I was when I was talking about in beginning. It's like this was wanted to come through. So if you're experiencing something more, like it's probably because you have something connected with this new moon. Because I do, and there's like really it's beautiful. It's connected to also letting some part of us die
hmm
for sure,
Yeah.
and letting it die and not stuffing it down and being afraid, but it's like, okay, this is me. This is the parts I'm ready to let go. It's been a very like an open, unlocked theme for
hmm
myself, if that makes sense. And
Totally. Also, that like 11 1, like that 1 1 1 keeps coming through too. So we have this like 11 1, right? And then we also have it's All Souls Day for those that kind of that's like, old school Catholic vibes, I feel like. But
yeah,
it does. It's like we have, it's like to me, it still really represents, even if it comes through Catholicism, that time period where the veil is so thin. We have Samhain
yeah,
on one night and Halloween and then All Souls Day. It's like because this is such a potent, transparent time where we can connect to other dimensions, other realms.
yeah,
But also it's like that 1 1 1 energy, I think a lot of people are being redirected back to themselves, their shit. How many people right
yeah,
now are like, you can't get involved in other people's stuff, or you can try, it's going to make a mess. Like I'm not saying on a selfish level we need to work on ourselves, but if we all were working on our own individual problems, it would help release friction and tension on the planet.
yeah. That's just a really a logical kind of way of looking.
Right. It's like
That
it's
is
not
like,
selfish, it's personal
no, it's not.
responsibility.
Yes, I completely agree. It is our responsibility, and we have to become responsible. Other, we can't just sit and be like complain and be like, oh, all this is happening. Poor me, I can't do it. That is the
Mhm.
opposite of what Pluto is teaching us. What this Scorpio new moon. Pluto is about power. If we constantly give our power away to whatever, whoever it is, like big, all this Pluto also ending in Capricorn is gonna show us what's like what's not working. Okay, ADHD is kicking in
No,
really
this is
like
good. Our
very
listeners love this, I
like
feel like.
every I have like 7 themes in my life. Honestly. So where I was going with this, yeah, just definitely about personal response, about power, talking about power.
Yeah.
And Pluto rules the new moon in Scorpio, and we are in Scorpio season, so there's a lot of we have access to power. And also when you say like it comes like ancestral support, we are very, very supported if we want to. I've been connecting on a daily basis, which I didn't do before, like to the higher, like really consciously doing that ritual, which being very much involved in what very aware and very conscious of the rebirth I want to create, very intentional of my rebirth, like how,
Mm.
what I want to create, who am I, who is
Yeah.
a part of me really. There was an incident I had on 2 weeks ago, and that was the last, I think, of the Pluto lessons, because my
Mm.
sun is in
Yep.
the end of the Capricorn. So I was like, okay, I'm done. No, no, there was another big death, but I think the last one is like, come on, we are like Pluto's going into Aquarius in November 19. So that's
Mm.
why the month is really big with shifts. But I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But it was after I look back, it's like, thank God it happened. It was the last thing that I
Mm.
needed to like that needed to die. Okay. Where
Wait, can I give another good example of that?
yes,
Because
yes,
I
yes.
feel like all the cardinal signs are going through this, but the whole
Yeah,
planet is getting ready for this Pluto shift, right? Like,
yeah,
and then just for those of us like Capricorn, right, that are really in it. But the last, I literally like it, something really big happened in the summer, right? And then I was like, okay, we're just gonna get through this, right? Like this is it. That was that big. And then what's funny is that I was sharing with you before we started recording, our house has been worked on
yeah.
construction wise for I think we're at like week 6. And I am a recovering party girl. I'm like lucky that I'm alive. Okay. Like that's the level of chaos that my life used to entail. I now cannot handle loud noises.
Same.
like, like too much intense anything, too much intense friction, smells, like I can't handle chemicals. I'm like, I am the meme of like the I used to party in basements and like have bottles and passed out in a field fucking somewhere and my parents didn't know where I was. And now I'm like, oh, my kids are not, that has red dye in it. Get the fuck away from me. You know what I mean? Or like, I need minerals added to my water. Thank you very much. Right. So that's where I'm at.
Mhm.
Anyway, these construction workers are here and they're all chain smoking, constant smoke billowing into the windows. And I'm like, I'm a windows open lady. I don't know about anyone else. It's gorgeous weather. The windows are open.
Yeah, me
And
too.
I had to shut the windows for most of this time. And then their music is so loud. Country music in the back, can't stand it. Rock, classic rock upstairs, or like techno music. I'm like, I'm gonna lose my freaking mind. And you know what it made me do? It was like, here's a perfect example. I could have just complained and been sour about it and been like complained to the landlord and done this or get mad at them. And you know what I did? I took the time to do reconstruction on all my work. I literally have been
Yeah,
behind the scenes rebuilding my whole offer suite for 6 weeks. And it gave me the time to kind of go in. I mean, I still did things, had to take care of the kids, had to do this, had to take the dog for a walk.
yeah,
Doesn't matter. I just utilize that external symbolism
yeah.
to
That's
use that
beautiful.
internally and go, okay, they're doing construction out there. I've got to do construction in here. And in 6 weeks, I've pretty much I created the biz bundle and
Yeah,
organized that, one of the sexiest, funnest sales pages I've done in years. And I love making that stuff. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like, yeah, and figuring out like who I am, what am I, who am I here for? What am I
yeah,
doing? Who is this work for? Who do I really want to work with? Which of my stuff could be fucking streams of automations, like automation? And who do I want to work with in proximity? Oh God, like I could go on and on, but I made it be a fun time. And I think, and literally they're over there now. I think today's the last day. And it's 111. Here we are. It just all seems very symbolic and beautiful.
Yeah, and it's also like just talking about like in your chart. I was looking at your chart for the mentoring with stars. It's like this is all the energy that you're saying it's happening.
Mm,
There's like who am I? What am I? Going deeper into like what am I really here for? Who am I here for? So yeah,
Oh, I can't
you're
wait.
saying, like, with
Guys,
the with the your person.
if you are not getting your mentoring with the stars or getting a regular astrology reading here with Ineza, it needs to happen. For those, I'm talking to the next level ladies on here and men. I don't know who listens to these podcasts, but I don't know. Those of you
I
that
hope
are
I
at the next
listen. Yeah.
level, don't you agree? It's like if you feel that you are a person listening to this podcast whose world moves quickly and things are changing and you can't like totally keep up with it or understand it,
Yeah.
talk to you, Ineza, right? Because it's like, oh, when you break it down to me, the planetary shifts of what's happening in my world right now,
Yeah.
I carry it with me, not only for the month, Ineza, I carry it with me for months. Like things that you tell me that stick with me, I'm like, okay, I can lean on it. It's like I can lean on my chart.
Absolutely. That's what I was thinking even for myself. I was like, I was what I thought about today, somewhere in the shower, somewhere. I was like, if I wouldn't have astrology, and I thought about other people, and I thought about like if I like having astrology as a tool, as a living this wisdom that comes, I can lean, like you said, I can lean on it. If I wouldn't know that Pluto is on my sun for the last 5 years,
Mm,
like I think the madness I've experienced would have really consumed me so much more than it like
yeah.
well it was a lot, but I'm here and it did help me. And I was like, okay, this is Pluto. Hello. Like, you know, for
Mm,
5 years, it was a very like a personal meeting. Like Pluto, people have a tendency to have like this energy. Pluto is the world of the underworld and it destroys everything. I had like constant meetings in the personal office of this energy. And now when people say, "Oh, I'm feeling this Scorpio new moon," it's like I live there. And it's like in
yeah.
it was hard because my ego and all the fears, and Scorpio and Pluto wants us to face the fears and find a power behind, because everything that triggers any fear is an indication where we are not free,
Mm.
where we are giving our power away, everything. So for me, it was these meetings with Pluto in the personal office is like, okay, this is gonna die, whether you want it or not. So this is the energy what we are working now. And the more we lean into that, the new beginning is also very much here. This is new moon. So there's a new moon energy. So also people can be, I woke up exhausted, but there's a part of me that is very, very excited for all the
Mm.
deaths that happen. I'm celebrating myself for letting go so, so much. And I'm sure a lot of people who are aware, or if you're really curious about your chart and what's happening, yes, definitely connect to me and I'll help you out. Okay.
There's this theme is everywhere. This like it's an
Yeah.
overlap right now, right? The overlap
Yes.
of like what is transitioning out and the new stuff coming in, I feel like is so wide. It's so deep. You know what I mean?
It is. We are on like this, the change that we are experiencing as humanity is so unprecedented, especially like in our generation. Like we are in this new playground, which
Mm,
sometimes feel like just war, and but there's also like war and destruction and decay. But
mhm.
there's other side that is there is strength and beauty. And this is also Pluto moving into Aquarius now. So we can talk a little bit about that because
Yeah.
the energy, the shift, we probably already are feeling it because we had, I think, March last year from March to June, if I'm not mistaken, Pluto was in Aquarius. So we felt a little bit. This is a shift from Capricorn to Aquarius is quite, it's from cardinal earth, so it's structures, it's corporations, it's giving up the power to the bigger, something out of ourselves. Now, with Pluto moving into Aquarius, this is community, this is power to people, this is power to groups, this is how can we serve. This is moving away from materialistic kind of existence, which is Capricorn, that there's a side of Capricorn that's materialism and creating in the world, into more humanitarian service, community, groups, social ju justice. I want to say social, like these things that we've been experiencing and disconnect. Like there's a lot of us as people come taking back power and joining together, and like this there's always going to be with Pluto, the theme of power is always present. It's about power struggles, it's about power, your inner power. It's where we're giving power away, where we are disempowered, where we need to learn to take it back, and all of these things. But Aquarius is fixed air. So it's using our ideas, it's using this universal mind because it's ruled by Uranus. So this is universal mind. So this is also AI. Like we can see this
Hmm.
belongs to Aquarius. There's like, so we can use it in a good way, we can use it in a destructive way. Like we will see how these things unfold, but we have, I think with Pluto and Aquarius, the power, we have to remember how powerful we are. And it sounds like a cliche when I say that, but if we really sit with that or have a conversation with another person who understands that we are really powerful, and
Hmm.
sometimes I need to remind myself
Hmm.
that like I'm not helpless. I'm not, because we kind of have learned to be helpless in a
Hmm.
way, because we do give like responsibility away. We don't want, or we don't want to take responsibility. So
Hmm.
Pluto will teach us these, and I think we
Oh.
will definitely
Whew.
feel the shift in the world, like in the, because Pluto is it's going to be 20-year long transit, so it's not like
Wow.
only something switches.
Yeah.
It's like a permanent change. But I think in November we will feel the shift, and I love the part. What makes me excited is the part moving away from the materialistic side of like this society structures and classes into groups and communities, soul tribes, all of this energy. And this is dreams about how can we serve each other? How can these little things like go, how can I volunteer? How can I make someone's life better? It doesn't have this team will keep us in, like will give us power. Coming together in community will, there's really beautiful energy with this coming together as human beings and remembering who we are, joining together like light workers. I think there was a big, I'm a little bit on a but it's just
No,
coming
this
to
is so good.
light workers have been hiding a little bit because there was
Yeah.
compassion, exhaustion,
Hmm.
it was just overwhelming. Now I feel for myself and a lot of people that I'm connected, there's a different energy. I feel like, okay, I'm ready to,
Yeah.
I'm ready to be out there. I'm ready to serve my community. I want to be, like, I want to be of service. Like feel it more deeply than ever, this like this team, because star season light workers come in with that, but
Hmm.
we often need to, there's a lot of karmic things that we need to go and heal, and it's not an easy road sometimes, but it's like once we, if we lean into it with, also for me it was Pluto's, with Pluto's help, there's something that we learn this power, and almost like we are indestructible in a way, just like be in service, like follow your heart, like do the thing that you're, okay, am I making sense? So the
You're
going
making
back to
so much
Scorpio.
sense. And I think that was the most powerful part of this
Hmm.
whole episode was what you just said. And I think we'll all go back and rewind that because it was so good.
Thank
I
you.
think it's actually the answer or the message that a lot of people are looking for right now. Because there's
Oh,
such this doomsday, the world is ending conversation out there. And I'm not trying to be naive, right? But I really do believe that so many of us, most of us, are here to create heaven on earth.
yeah.
And right, what we are seeing is this end of the way we're living that isn't working on the planet.
The
And
key, end of the way. It's not the end of the world or end of us. It's
exactly.
end of the way. Yes,
Yes.
that's good. Okay. Like,
right? Right?
yeah,
It's like, yeah, that way's not working anymore.
no, hasn't worked
And
in a long time.
then I love to hear it's like, and now we've got this 20-year period to work together to
Yeah.
figure it the F out. It's not going to be sorted on Tuesday in America. That's election day. It's like people are
Hmm.
losing their damn minds in this country. And rightfully so. It's a circus. But
Yeah.
it's like this isn't going to be sorted out on Tuesday, and it's not going to be sorted out on January. We're
No.
in this for the long run.
Hmm.
And I want to say that also too. It's like um the new world is already being born. It's not, I think some people are waiting for like a sign or a signal to go off, like, oh, it's time to start building. It's like, no, as we watch this thing crumble or burn or whatever symbolism you want to use, the new growth is coming in. Those seeds are dropping in now. We are those seeds.
We've been building for years.
Right.
There's also, it's not just streamlined on any media, or maybe some of us share more, but I think also there's a really beautiful shift happening where a lot of people that are building this new world are now more than ready and feel safe to come out.
Yes. Yes.
And this is, I love,
Yes.
and I celebrate every single person, and I myself as well, because I'm like, I think I'm finally ready to show my face, to talk
Yes.
about things, because it's
Which
been,
sounds funny because you would look at me and you and go, you guys have been out doing this for a freaking decade, if not two. Like, what do you mean? But it's like, I feel you. I feel like I'm finally coming out of hiding, actually.
yes,
Somehow, with
yeah.
all the public arena I've been in, I still felt like I was hiding.
There is a layer, there's layers of the work or the information and the things that we, the medicine, and the readiness of the people, and also our past life memories, if we're going really into specifics, why we release the next level of us, let's say, or the next level of medicine, or the next level of offerings, or the next level of something,
Mm,
because we have gone through something that, and we feel safe. But there is a universal energy, and that goes back to how supported we are and we feel, and how support is readily available for everyone. And me, and I think even people that are not really excessively spiritual or religious, and
mhm.
there is a really easy way to connect. And we now, I think more than ever, people start to understand, yes, we are not just this flesh, like this piece of flesh just gonna die, nothing. No, we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and there's other dimensions, other energies that we can connect to. We can ask for support and all of those things. And I think even this information, for some people will be like, oh, I don't know what she's saying, but those people probably are not here on this podcast, right? If
Right.
you're on this
Right.
podcast, you know what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
there's more and more of this, like, yeah, let's talk about things the way they are. There are dimensions, there are support, there is more than we understand, even now, even being
Right.
connected.
Like that our brains cannot comprehend, like the
No.
human brain cannot comprehend the levels of connection and support to source that is
Yeah,
available
exactly.
for
That's very
us.
well said. Yeah, that's what I wanted. That's encompasses
I
what I
want to
wanted.
I want to give a tangible tool, and this will sound very esoteric. So let's just, but I feel like it is a
Let's
tangible
go
way
there.
of
Yeah.
looking at it. What we are talking about right now, guys, I invite my clients to this when it all seems so overwhelming and we're sensing and feeling how many of us are so empathic and so open, and our channel is big and it's growing, right? And then we can feel and sense the 8 billion on the planet and what's happening across the globe and across the country and in our families. Right? This is what
Yeah.
I invite my clients to do. There is a specific bandwidth, a consciousness on this planet of those of us that are here for the new world, for the
Yeah.
rebirth, whatever you want to call it. And what I mean by that are people, whether they understand it or not. I'm not talking spiritual. I'm talking living at a vibrational consciousness, receiving the new ways, receiving that like
Yeah.
co-creative work, being a seed. I like to say being a bridge on the planet between heaven and
Yeah.
earth, whether
Yeah.
what their religion is, it's none of my business, but there's a bandwidth and you can
Yeah.
tap into that. And it's not 8 billion. It's way smaller. Like even right now, something like a 500,000 wants to like pop through. Like a 500,000 active participants
Mhm.
in bringing heaven on earth. And maybe there's a bunch of those different bandwidths. I'm not trying to put us in a box right now. I'm trying to say connect
Yeah,
to that because
through meditation or
you will
through
feel
whatever.
supported. And
Yeah,
it's not all spiritual people chanting. No, no, no. I'm talking like the farmer, the guy in Spain who's doing a cool new thing with olive oil trees. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like there are humans out there doing great things and you can access them on a frequency bandwidth available, a current running around the globe and within the globe. Connect to it through the earth and mycelium and connect to it through this beautiful air that we are sharing together, literally. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Oh, yeah. And when you do that, you go, oh my God, I'm not alone. Like I'm not alone. I'm not going
yeah.
crazy. They are
Mm,
out there. And when you do that, you'll actually be able to find them more.
exactly. And that's the human consciousness. And through this consciousness, there's other beings, like whatever you want to believe, like angels, supports, like the family that has passed away. There's different types. The way you understand in your brain, it doesn't have to be a certain way.
Yeah.
There's a consciousness is bigger than uh, the consciousness is all encompassing. So there's a lot of different types of energies that are very supportive of our planet's ascension and this work that we're doing. And that sometimes when you said it's very real for a lot of people, and for me at certain phases on my, like, let's say dark night of the soul or learning process, that a lot of people feel like, oh, I'm going crazy, like everything's unraveling. It's like I don't know what to believe, like they're like one foot in the old kind of paradigm and the one foot is like, okay, there's something new. So you're not going crazy. So this is time when you connect to other people, like go look for people and look for this energy. And through like meditations, being nature is, I will always say, is one of the biggest. Like we are so disconnected sometimes in a concrete, like roads and houses. Even
Hmm.
being putting your feet out on the ground and connecting to earth and speaking to, I don't know, you can speak to trees, speak to the nature.
Yes. Oh my
I
God.
don't know. I
Yes.
don't know. Just I speak to everything. Basically, I
Yeah.
speak to everything. I speak
Hmm.
to everything
Hmm.
that is consciousness. Like because
Yeah.
everything is like me and my friend has this phrase, everything is everything. If she ever listens, if she will laugh. Anyways, okay, that's what I wanted to
No,
say.
this is so good. I'm a druid. Hello. We like literally speak, we think everything's
Hello.
we speak to all inanimate objects because we really believe they are alive. My cousin the
Yeah.
other day, we were leaving the office together and I said, "Bye, office. I love you." And she goes, "Are you talking to your office?" And I was like, "You don't?" And we started
Oh
laughing.
my
I was
God,
like,
I love
why the fuck wouldn't you say hi to your office? Like, I love this thing. Are you kidding me? I opened the door. I'm like, ah, like, alone time for 3 hours. Like, I fucking love you. And I love the space and it feels so good. And you can see my energy change when I'm in that office. You know what I mean?
It's so true. Even our homes, like say those, thank you. Thank you, home, for keeping me safe.
Yes.
Yesterday, oh, it's funny to say that because yesterday I'm looking for a car and I'm buying this like real temporary small car. And I was looking at this car and it's like, I just want to touch like a little car, like so cute and so small, but I think I can take care of it. And the father of my son, my ex-husband, he was like, he's very much like, I like the way he lets me be me. And it's just like, he's like, yeah, that's her. He was smiling, he was giggling because he's like, oh, that's cute. She's talking to, and I remember, sorry, I'm just going on a memory lane. I remember there were times because I felt so comfortable with him to be myself that I was talking to food and he's like, are you talking to eggs? This might sound crazy for some people, but it was like very normal for me. He's like, yeah, he's like, oh, see, he would always laugh at this side, but I think it was very endearing for him to see
Mm,
kind of very, it's not naive, it's a very pure way of living when you see everything as a consciousness, as
mm,
something that's interacting with you. And it's making me feel emotional because I've always been like that since I was
mhm,
very small.
mhm.
Um, I find beauty in everything. I find beauty in saying hello to people and to animals and to I have a special bond with animals as well. Like people are very confused why I have conversations with them, why they are so like whenever I go like and like they would just come to me and stay with me.
Yes.
And just like you are my
Yes.
person, like
Yes.
animals and small children. Anyways,
No, this is so good. This was a topic
that's so
today.
healing for me to share. Thank you. Thank
Literally, I
you.
have a little note card over here. The top note was I wanted to bring up the praying at the water and talking to the land. And we literally just went there in conversation anyway. And
Yeah.
I go down to this because we just today is 4 years in this house. And
Mm,
I have the ocean behind the house. And it's the bay, so it's not like big, huge mama ocean, the bay that moves out to the ocean. But we
mhm.
have access to water all over the state. It's the ocean state. And we have access right behind our house. I can see it out the bathroom window. And this was a signal for me to move into the house. Was
Yeah.
that because I'm a high priestess druid. You know what I mean? Like I am doing prayer and I set up a lighthouse that I put out frequency with, whether I'm putting peace into the earth or I'm putting my energy and light out to those who need it. And I can
Mm,
send it up and down the eastern seaboard. I can send it over to Europe. Like those are my places usually. But I went down and prayed today and I could sense and feel. I like sat there and I was just like, it was like a moment, it was like an anniversary with me in that land.
oh,
And
I
it was
love
like, and I've been coming and I was like 14 weeks or 16 weeks pregnant with Goldie when we moved in
mm,
here. And look at what has happened in 4 years and who has come and gone and the babies we've had and and who we are. And I could feel also the sense of, and our time is nearing. I am letting you know now, land. I don't know when it will be, but I can feel that our time is over. And it gets so emotional. And I teach and I talk about this because people leave spaces and places, or they get rid of their cars, or they leave their homes, and they don't do completion ceremonies because no one tells you to do this shit. I will, you will, right? The
love this.
completion
Yeah.
ceremony is you walk around the land you're at. Like the last place we lived 5.5 years, and I'm a five, and it was a five house. I'm like, I was crying saying goodbye to the crows.
Yeah.
I connected more with crows and ravens and coyotes in that house than ever before in my life, really. It was
Love.
monumental, that land for me. Where we
Yeah.
are now, this has been monumental. I let the land know I'm preparing to leave. I'm being called to another space and place. And
That's
I just
beautiful.
started to do it. And I didn't really think that was coming, but it came through. And that to me is also like a signal. It's evidence that, like, look, that new next level is like really fucking calling me through. Like the land is calling me, the new house is calling me, us going to
Yeah.
home ownership is calling me. Next big level, scary, big jumps for our business are coming, which sounds insane because we've taken so many insane jumps, but this
Mm,
is like that external evidence and internal evidence that's available all around. And I'll just
yeah.
say about the car and the house real quick. Same
Mm,
thing. Do a completion ceremony on the house and pull your energy out of there. And if anyone's like, "Oh my God, I that happened to me. I was at an apartment, I couldn't like settle and you can't like when you're going into a new place, have an opening ceremony, right? But when you're leaving a place, have a completion ceremony. Same thing
yeah.
with the car. People don't realize how emotional they're going to be. And then they get rid of the car and the car gets passed in and they're like, "Wait, I feel crazy." It's like get your energy out of it and end that contract.
Yeah. I even feel like my partner's cars, I felt emotional. It's like, you can't sell that car. We were
Right.
together when you got that car. Do not sell that car. Like
Mhm, mhm,
I'm so attached. I am very, very attached to things. Sometimes some things, very certain, like very family
mhm.
and like things that I was meaningful, like a car with the person that I have child with or something like that.
Right. Right.
Like that's really, I'm very involved and it's hard for me to let it go. Anyways, that was beautiful. Thank you.
No, this is good. We've really been hitting all the stops here today, Inez. What's coming through for you now?
I think like so without saying specific transits. So maybe I just say like what's really like as in transit wise. I think we have covered energy like fully of what's going on because that's what we do. We kind of don't say like okay, the sun is doing this, that's why this. We kind of do everything, and maybe I'll just say, um, So about the Mars, before we went into everything is everything. I was starting to say about Mars. So Mars enters Leo, and this is an important transit. And going back to the tension of oppositions, we will be working out because Mars is in Cancer. It will enter Leo on November 5th, right? So in 5 days. Then Mars will station. So and the energy will shift. Mars is in Cancer now. It's more we are, and also it has an opposition to Pluto in around these days. It's exact on 4th, if I'm not mistaken, so we will feel it. Like there is Mars in Cancer wants to attach, once there is an emotional energies, there is boundaries, there is where we feel, where we give a, like where boundaries are blurred, there is like the power. Pluto is also teaching us where to put boundaries. So it's who can we trust, how can we create more healthy relationships. Then when Mars enters Leo, we will feel it because Leo energy is always more buoyant, more magnetic, more we want to do things. It's fire. It's not fixed, it's fixed fire. So there's gonna be a lot of creation energy. We will have fun with it. However, Mars then stations retrograde on December 7th. So we can talk about we will be talking about Mars, and so it will do retrograde through two signs, Cancer and Leo, and it will do three oppositions to Pluto. And that's kind of like also the theme of this is the tension of the opposites. Like when you mentioned
Mhm.
that came through. And so we will have the first opposition in a few days, then one in January 3rd, and the last one will be April. So it's 6 months we will have this kind of, so we will be talking throughout the next episodes more deeper into what this energy really means. Um, yeah.
I want to say that is not from me. That is actual a Carl Jung quote. And I'm going to paraphrase him real quick, but he essentially said something along the lines of there will come a day when there are a people, like a group of us, right, who can hold the tension of opposites. And from that, a new pathway will be born. And this
I
is the
love
new
it.
way. I was just talking to this about a girlfriend today outside.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not that this side's right, this side's wrong, this is the way, no, this is the way. It's like, it's getting so tense and we're being pulled so apart that
Yeah.
naturally what's going to occur is a whole new shoot's going to come out. Plants teach you this, earth teaches you this. This is the way fire works, this is the way water works. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like a new way is coming. And many of us that are sitting, I call us also middle way walkers, are like, that looks fucking crazy over there. And these people are crazy over here. Like, y'all just keep going the opposite direction. But physics will teach us you keep going in the opposite direction, you end up at the same mark, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why, like, people over here actually are so stretched apart. They're eventually going to meet back again on a
Yeah,
line.
I love this idea. I love everything from the beginning of the quote and what you said. I think it was a little transmission for this Pluto against opposite Mars, which I think there's a beautiful energy. So the first opposition will now that we're experiencing is in Capricorn and Cancer. Yeah, because Pluto is in the last degree. And then the next two, when Mars is retrograde, so it will be Aquarius, Leo. So it's going to be different energies being opposite. So it's going to be people versus the circus. Oh, this is how
Mm,
I'm seeing it. People versus like maybe someone, just few people that take the power or the spotlight.
mm.
There's more of that. And we will see this unfolding because on a world stage, collective, and also individually. So I think this is theme that we will cover over the next 6 months, these oppositions.
Oh,
More
so
in January.
exciting.
Yeah. Then let's just go through the transits. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
On November 11th, we have Venus enters Capricorn. So now she is in Sagittarius, which is actually good for the Scorpio. Energy can be quite heavy and can draw us in, like really in. And
Mm,
sometimes there's like a little bit of darkness. And Sagittarius energy has like its ease, its adventure, is looking at the bigger picture, storytelling, all of this. So
mm,
until on November 11th, Venus enters Capricorn. So it's more of Venus is what we like and value, and Capricorn is ambitious and strategic. So there's a more organized energy towards a Capricorn energy will come in towards like what we value and in our relationships as well. Then on November 15th, did you want to say something?
I'm just so excited hearing that because my Circle of Success Mastermind, I felt really called to have it start on 11/11, even though it sounds like,
Okay.
just ridiculous with the numbers. And I wasn't trying to do it with the numbers. I was like, this just feels really good. And we wouldn't even have a call on that day. We would have it on the next day. But I was like, it's starting now. And now I'm hearing Venus and Capricorn. And I'm like, ooh, this like
Yeah,
Circle of Success Mastermind is for people who are ready to like take their business to the next level. And
I love
yeah,
this.
and like the
I love
people I'm
this for
talking
11,
to
11.
for it, yeah, like the women that are coming forward and talking to me about, I'm like, okay, fuck yes. All right, I've got a
Also,
transit backing me up here.
yeah, just a quick note. Also, your Venus, your personal Venus is entering your second house. Ah, that's you have it on whole November. Sorry, this is just from
Right.
your personal chart. So this is also about material, about val like this is connecting to Venus, like just Venus. So yours is going to be in the second house, which is creating abundance, like creating material abundance,
Mm.
creating what like from what you value. Okay.
Ooh, ooh.
So November 15th, then we have full moon in Taurus. And this is conjunct Uranus at 27, 25 degrees of Taurus. So Taurus is grounding, but with conjunction with Uranus, we can expect also kind of unexpected kind of shifts, maybe breakdown. Uranus is always breakdowns, breakthroughs, but through all of it, I sense there's a everything that's need to break apart, break down will, and then with Taurus energy, we'll come back to ourselves. But the
Mm.
grounding will be important. Letting go of limiting patterns, embracing change, tuning into our intuition, our body for greater clarity. Then a big shift also. November is full of shifts. For the biggest of the decade is Capricorn, Pluto,
Mhm.
Capricorn too. But it also Saturn turns direct on November 16th. Saturn
Mm.
is our ruler of Capricorn. Saturn has been retrograde in Pisces. So we've been kind of like there's a background of slowing down and understanding like our how I feel like I've really developed a close connection to like the consciousness that really this bandwidth
Mhm.
we were speaking
Yeah.
about. Really, there's a lot of clarity of what I want to do,
Mhm.
connected to my purpose and passion, and I've loved it, taking like moments off. So I have, as a Capricorn, my ruler is Saturn. So for me, it's been really beautiful. It's stationing direct in on 12 degrees of Pisces. So this is also a beautiful time and like we can the projects can move forward because we have been kind of reassessing a lot of things. Even
Mhm.
though a lot of us are moving and doing things, there has been an energy of reassessing. And on
Totally.
November 16 is like an even bigger like, okay, we can move, let's move.
Mhm.
And one key theme is also learning about emotional boundaries because Pisces is like this very flowy energy. And I'll just read this. Emotional boundaries can be subtle, ranging from ignoring one's inner voice and giving it into others' expectations to oversharing. So we are learning to where is our like it's been a grand cross of this energy is being supportive for our emotions to move through our bodies. That has been also a theme for October and November, where like we are learning emotional boundaries, we are learning how to let our emotions flow through and out and all of these kind of things.
Mm.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
A lot of this kind of emotional intelligence. I would say we are learning with Saturn and Pisces and also retro, we're learning emotional intelligence with
Mm.
ourselves, standing like that it's not selfish to set boundaries. And because there's a lot of people within the community of light workers and starseeds and all of this group of group of people, there is an energy of not people pleasing, but giving, even to the detriment of self. So the Saturn in Pisces has been teaching us it's not selfish and it's really healthy and so beneficial for us to stand our ground, to be really clear about the boundaries.
Mhm.
Make
How long
sense?
is Saturn in Pisces for?
Saturn is in Pisces until February 13th, 2026.
Oh. Ho, ho, ho.
So the whole next year still. And I am loving this energy because I think we need to learn a lot about emotional intelligence because it's giving there is so it's about also so much about communication between us because we I think we need to learn how to communicate with each other.
Right.
It's
I
a lot
also
of
say
we have
like,
forgotten.
and the wounded side of this is we're gonna be working through a lot of manipulation. We're going to be
Yeah,
working through a lot of control issues. We're going to be working through a lot of ego issues. I think a lot of rose-colored glasses. Like, I'm just you saying this transit as I'm thinking of like the five big things I've seen happen and like with people with addiction, with family, with this and that. You know what I mean? It's like, ooh, there's a lot of people like, no, I don't have a problem. It's you, it's not me, when they've got like obviously a very clear
yeah,
five alarm bell problems, right? And then the other people around them having to go personal boundary. I'm setting up a personal boundary because I need to put myself for it so that they can actually sit with their own stuff. And we all are being asked to really sit with our own things right
great
now.
example.
And right, and then it's like, and we're all going to see from like media and government to people in our families and in our homes, right? The manipulation and the codependency, but it takes two to tango there. And I think it like
That's
for
the
me,
very key. It takes
yeah,
two. It takes
takes two to
enabling.
tango.
Yeah,
And that's why a lot of us that are the enablers, like I know I am an enabler in these relationships. And it obviously highlights stuff from my childhood and need to make everything peaceful, right?
yeah,
But I need to pull myself out of a lot of those positions so the person that I was in that codependent relationship could then just like they have to be with themselves. They have to do their
yeah.
own
You
work. I
need to
can't do
let
it for
people.
them. I need
Yeah,
to let people do it, you know?
I think
And
it's
these
really.
were go
Yeah,
ahead.
go. So sorry. Go
No,
on.
go.
Go on.
But I'm like, even though I'm making it sound nice right now, everything I'm like the situations I'm talking about have been some of the hardest things I've ever had to do. As like I'm almost 40 years old. You know what I mean? Like this more adulting, self-responsibility, emotional intelligence shit is hard. It is hard and
Hey,
you will be considered the bitch, the bad person. I am considered the monster in people's stories over this.
same. Yes.
You know, it's
Mhm.
not easy. So I'm just letting you know you are not alone. Find people, be around people, listen to podcasts like this. There are podcasts on what we're talking about right now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
There is information and people and communities where you can or just connect if you feel alone. You're not, and you're there's a very this kind of blame putting on you like you're the monster. I have experienced that very intensely. And like when you say like, oh, saying this emotional intelligence, putting boundaries, it's been the hardest journey of my life
Yeah.
to letting go the I have to make everything right. And but then I'm just being walked over and I'm enabling people to like not letting them grow up by not abandoning, but letting them there needs to sometimes be really strong, sometimes extreme boundaries to even to self-preserve and to even from a higher level to let them evolve and let you evolve.
Hmm.
And it's not easy. It's very painful sometimes.
Hmm.
So I think there's a lot of that happening in a world where people are going back and forth and support is really important through that. I got a lot of support for myself at the point where I was like, okay, I can't do this by myself.
Can I say another thing with because I was
Yeah.
talking to a girlfriend about this and it's actually perfect for right now. In these Piscean waters, I think the emotions and what we're feeling and that our intuition and all this can get very murky and can get
Yeah.
very chaotic almost. And what I was giving her advice on as I was navigating these similar waters myself, I said, actually, the objective truth was what I was able to anchor into, not my subjective, emotional, intuitive self, which is being pulled in a million directions as emotions and
Yeah.
not intuition, but as emotions are. So what I was able to do is I had to get clear about like the objective truth, meaning like this is a problem. This thing over here that we're working with in this
Yeah.
family is a problem. It's clinically known as a problem. It needs to be addressed. They
Yeah.
need professional help, and I can't do that for them. That is the objective truth that
Yeah.
I can hold on to while the chaos of everything around it is just a fucking mess. You know what I mean? And she was
I
like,
do.
oh, you're like, yeah, thank you. You know, it's like these are those times where like our brain and our emotions and our heart and our guts are actually like on the ride there.
Yeah, it's not an easy process to I've been on both sides of, like, not to go deeper in that story, maybe one day, but I understand um that, like, taking letting people take responsibility, but it's really painful also to watch someone manipulate, but also see them in pain,
Yeah.
and that manipulation coming through them not knowing how to take responsibility. So
Right.
there's a lot of parts of
Yeah.
how we are seeing that person and wanting to help, but sometimes we need to let them go through experience and let them have support. And when you can see that it's not being healthy, even if you want to help. But so yeah.
Right. Yeah. When did the Saturn Piscean thing happen?
So Saturn stations direct in Pisces on November 16th.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah.
that's going to be more there's more clarity and more ease with this energy, because also Neptune is in the last degrees of Pisces. So even though there's this really ethereal, and we are learning that we are spiritual beings and all of that, there is rosy glasses and wanting to escape and all, not taking
Mhm.
responsibility. So Saturn going direct there, I think, is a really helpful energy. Also, do not forget, it's really important that Saturn is trining today's Scorpio new moon,
Mm.
giving a very supportive influence, giving a very stabilizing. So what we are creating for the next cycle and what we are letting to die, there is support, there is stable.
Mhm.
And I feel that even though the new moon being so close to mine and Jupiter, the emotions I felt was a lot. I was like, I think the Saturn trining and supporting this transition that we are going, this is a transition, transformation, death, and rebirth. For some more than others, there is this stabilizing energy. And that's for today. Maybe tomorrow, like around, well, today is the new
I
moon.
love hearing that. I love
Yeah.
hearing that. The
Anything
last,
that,
go ahead, what were
Mhm.
you gonna say?
No, anything, I think anything that stabilizes and helps us and grounds us and gives
Yeah.
us life, like everything's like, yes, please, yes. When I read that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna really enjoy this new moon, because
Yeah.
like sometimes when there's Uranus and there's this really conflicting energy, I can deal with it, but only on my own. If have to be in the world and with people, oh, I absorb a lot, and then it's like, yeah,
Hmm.
okay,
I think the last thing I want to say is just some help and support for anyone out there who's like, I'm doing the work and the manifestation work isn't happening. And you know what I mean? And just a reminder of like, because I really feel like we live more in a cycle and a spiral than a linear time. You and I both get that deeply, right? But I think
yeah,
we need to be reminded of it, you know?
I think it's a
Not like
good reminder. Yes.
if this happens, then this happens, and this happens. You know, this day comes, then this month comes, then this year comes. It's not like on a straight line. If you flip that line over, it would be a spiral. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's more cyclical. And to layer onto that is that when a version of you that is being released, that is massively overlapping the version of you that's being birthed.
I love that. Yeah, and that's true.
It's
Yeah.
not a start and stop. It's not,
No.
now this is over and this begins. Like, no, this
No.
overlap could be months, guys. Some of you might be feeling like years,
Years.
like you were saying, like a 5 year
Mine,
one you
yes.
just came out of.
Yeah.
Years of that new version of you
Mhm.
coming through moment by moment, and that old version of you leaving moment by moment. Where I think people get stuck in this is they'll see evidence of the old version of them saying, see, the manifestation isn't working. This is still happening. I'm still living paycheck to paycheck. And it's like, okay, listen, this is evidence of the life you no longer want to live as you're doing and laying the foundational work of the next version of you. Just like you will start to see the evidence of that new version of you
Mhm.
coming through. Maybe it's not reacting the same ways you would have reacted to something. Maybe it's making different choices, or even on like what to wear and what to eat. It's like little. It's integration. It's step by step, bit by bit, if you ask me. It's not, I do believe some people have like massive boom, boom, like awakenings and they do just wait, but it's very rare
Rarely.
cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a rare case. The soul is ready for it. Most people that would be like a psychotic split. You know what I mean? Like You want
Yeah,
the
yeah, and
integration.
it's really hard. It's almost impossible to survive in like not looking at a psychic like a complete breakdown. It's
Right.
actually healthy to go through this transformation years, like
Yes.
taking months and years. I
Yes.
think.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. And you will see evidence of both things happening.
Yeah.
That's the reminder. You will see evidence of the old way. Like, you know what I mean? Like for example, it will be like, I'll give you a quick example of a contraction expansion, right? It's like Jayme comes home and he's talking to a realtor about another space, like because our business is just the state, but like we have the jujitsu studio and the gym and all that. It's like these businesses that are shutting down are spaces that like businesses we didn't ever think would shut down are now shutting down that would make open spaces that would be perfect for what we have. And we didn't even think about it. It was like, oh, oh, like talk about expansion. Like, oh shit, this would have the build out we want and the saunas and the steam rooms and the locker rooms. And they're like, oh my, right?
Mhm.
And it's like, whoa, and it's like so big, and the money is so big, like as in what we'd be responsible for. And it's just like that next level. And we're like, okay, we're not there yet, but this is the seeds dropping in, right? This
Yeah.
is us getting prepared, or getting our energy levels prepared, right? And we're like, whoa. And then like a random fucking bill comes in and then this happens and then we gotta pay that and it's like oh like you just go like big and then you contract in and it's like this thing we need to take care of right now and what I do is like in this moment I just observe what's happening in my
Yeah.
body as this happens and then I'm looking at my husband I'm like what is his reaction to this and then I go you know what he's allowed to have his own reaction I don't need to control his reaction that guys that's an example of manipulation when you try to control other people's reactions to things, right? Like little things like that. Being like, nope, just let him have his reaction. And I said, you know what? He has his own process. He's in charge of his own process. Let him have his process, Jayme. You have yours. And I got to a place where very quickly I wasn't bothered. And also at the same time, I was able to go, that was a beautiful expansion moment for us to realize that there is a whole new horizon here and
Yeah.
something we didn't even think of. And now I let it go. It's none of my business. It's literally none of my business. If that's where we go, if that's the route we head down, and I don't need to
Yeah.
control it right now. What it is just evidence showing up that there is a big next level coming for us, and we have to trust the process. And I let it go. And then a big fucking bill shows up, and it's like, how are you going to react? It's like,
And
oh,
this, yeah, it's
it's,
a beautiful example of the
yeah,
process of like up leveling and letting the nervous system like when you say observe, like I think it is so healthy and letting your nervous system be like that's expansion of nervous system. Like, okay, these are the bills you will be dealing with, even bigger. So
right.
there's universe is showing like this is the picture, and then this is the lessons. So
Hmm.
then you see the dream or the vision or whatever intention, and then there's lessons on the way until we become that version that can hold that. That's basically
Yeah,
the whole. And we are not like sometimes people like, oh my God, I'm going back. No, there's
right.
intense tests. I've noticed that with money, like a very, very interesting, like this allowing money and a relationship with money, because in my ancestral lines there's a lot of poverty and a lot of helplessness around money and making money, and even yeah, so it's been interesting to let my nervous system, it's working also with our nervous system to allow how much we can allow, like the joy,
Yeah.
abundance, how much money we can allow to hold. So yeah, that's a really good example that you
I feel like
shared.
these are good Scorpio topics too,
Yeah,
right?
these, yeah, Pluto rules big money.
And right, also, I think how many people are actually probably digging this bit of the podcast too, because how many light workers and people that are doing soul contract work that are here and soul purpose work that are having triggers around
Yeah.
abundance and money and making money and being
Hmm.
valued and seen. And oof, I feel like you and I could both really help people with that. But
Yeah.
a thing I like to remind people is that making more money doesn't get rid of the problem. If you have a vibrational frequency or a wound around money, abundance, making money, worthiness, it doesn't go away, guys, when and if you make more money. It follows you to the next tax bracket.
Oh, you can't, if you ignore it and just make more money, like for that can happen as well. Like,
Right.
it's more money, but you can have the same feeling of scarcity. So there's
Yes.
different ways, but you can also feel, so this is the other way around that like I've seen myself. If you feel wealthy, if you work on those blocks and those releasing and working with the ancestral trauma or whatever, if you work with that, um then there's change, and like there like it's always inner reality first, and then it can start to manifest, and it takes time. Sometimes if they are very deep in like entrenched patterns of like generations, it takes time. It's taking
Mm,
time for me, but I've seen change over time. I also see the change how I feel about money, that
yeah.
I used to wake up in anxiety every single day, and that
Yeah.
is the reality of a lot of people,
Yes.
especially doing like doing the, I am I do want to make this the same way, like you are an expander for me, like what I do with astrology and all my work. Like I want to do this for living. I want to do this is my joy, this is my passion.
Mhm.
um but it's taken time. But the way I feel about money and abundance and trusting life and being kind of guided there, it's been a process, but the way I feel is very different. I feel wealthy inside, like the old stuff
Right.
come and go, but I'm aware of this is a pattern, this is not mine, this is I don't really create it or hold this I learned, this is reprogrammed in me. But to become aware, and then the way I feel, like that's a moment of celebration for me. Like the way I
Absolutely.
feel around money is changing a lot. And this is a really important part for a lot of people that want to come and do what they want to do in the world, because to live in that state of slavery, that really it does feel like it when you do
Right.
something you don't want, that is really soul crushing, and that's going to be really hard with Pluto and Aquarius as well, because Pluto, like Aquarius is ruled by freedom. We will want to do what we want to do. So there's this
Mhm.
money, this part of money and wealth and energetics and all of that, which I think you can also help with people, right?
Right. Like I like what you're saying right now just totally backs up what I feel like a legion of angels with my trumpet, like, get ready. They're
Yeah,
coming. Get your businesses, get to the front line, get
yeah,
your businesses zipped up, get it organized out, do the back end work. Take 2 years building out the back end of your business if you want to. It's coming. And I think what you just said highlights the fact that one, this whole episode really highlights the fact that one, millions will be waking up and needing healing services, guidance
yeah,
services, teaching, I mean, up level, upgrade, art. So imagine people opening up and having a massive heart consciousness. Like, this is what's been happening, and this is what's coming, and we're past the tipping point. And
and that,
then for
yeah,
us, like the work I do, for us that have
this
the
is
sole purpose,
no,
this
yeah,
this is it. It's time to do it, my friend. Like, this is time. The time is here. And you're ready. I've signed off like all my freaking posts with that. The time is right. The time is now, and you are ready.
yeah. And this is, you have so many resources you've built over the years that is amazing and easy to use. So with that, you can definitely help. You have your information always in the show
Yeah,
notes,
why
right?
don't we shift into, because it's already been like over an
Yeah,
hour. This
we
was a big
talked a
one, but
lot,
this was
but
good. This was good.
this was beautiful and
Okay,
needed. So let's wrap it up.
I'll shift over to mine. I'm so happy to talk about the sold out Soulpreneur Biz Bundle. The last 6 weeks I was talking about, you know what I mean, the construction workers.
Yeah.
Um, I was building out my bundles. And this was me like finally putting my brilliance together in one package,
Mhm.
right? That doesn't there, it's just access to all my courses, right? So it's sales page in a day, it's the Soul Biz Lab, stay at
Yeah,
home soulpreneur, like all of these,
amazing.
the holiday sales bundle, right? Like everything that's helping people. It's more, and then it also includes the Biz Portal, which, you know, you've been part of this for so long. It also includes my Biz Portal, which has 75 plus calls on it. That's besides all the shit I just said. I counted out every video like a psycho, and it was 111 as of the time that I started to sell it.
Like you have done so, like I've never seen anyone done so whole, like so wholesome, like anything you ever want for starting a business or growing a business, like you have it, you got it.
Oh, thank you.
So
I gotta
just
go
go to
back and
Jen.
quote quote you there. Oh, gotta listen back to
Anything
this.
you want for starting or building a business, Jayme has it. Go
Like literally. And for anyone, like I'm
do.
here for the people who are like, you have that brilliance inside you too, guys. You have these
Yeah.
things, and to get them recorded isn't some materialistic like it's I'm not talking like capitalism here, guys. I'm saying women shouldn't have to repeat themselves all damn day long. So if you have stuff inside of you where like I want to run this thing and then never I don't want to have to talk about it every time I talk to a client, now I can go, hey, you've got the login, go watch that there. Oh, you've got the login? Okay,
Yeah.
go download that. It's brilliant. It's actually a
Part
feminine way of
for
doing business,
Yeah, this is the
right?
part I will, that's my next step. Like I am
Yes.
in your things, like I have through like it's so helpful for me because I am building my business always and forever. So yeah,
Same. So
it's great.
basically, I have that. It's a $500 thing. It's like 497 if you paid it all. Again, you get access to the 111 calls I'm talking about, and I do 3 payment plans of it. The first 10 people that come through it are getting a private soul to strategy session with me.
Amazing.
So that's what I have going on right now. I'm also so excited. The Circle of Success Mastermind is happening. Like I said, 11/11. So I've got some new things, and I'm really working with that. I'm getting really clear about my segues, my strategy, the flow. I call it like the web of creations, your web of offers. If you're hearing me talk so excitedly about my work now, this is the work I do with women. I've had over 100 private clients. I've worked with over 100 small businesses privately, not the hundreds and the thousands I've already connected with out in events and courses and classes and stages and da 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 da. So I just like this is my Capricorn wrap up. You and I will have transferred over that threshold, I feel like, by the time we have our next call. And this for me really feels like really looking and embodying all of the work and the power and the potency and the impact I've created on this planet already.
Love,
And now standing on that foundation as I dive into the next level.
love that. Goosebumps. I
Ooh,
love. Yeah, that's and also the other part that I love about you first, like when I connected, it's like you like a connector of people and you share your connections, you share your in a way, share
yeah.
community within community. Like it's very beautiful. It's not like, oh, this is mine. Like
No.
this, like it's very close. It's very you're very giving with like I found so many people and clients through through your
Yes.
network, your
Yes.
community. And that is, I think, a really beautiful Aquarius energy, a community
Mm,
share, like intertwine and like all of that. That is amazing as well.
thank you for
Just
reflecting
wanted to
that.
say that because this is really important. Not many people can really generate this type of energy, and this is what we need. The
Hmm.
community, the medicine, the sharing, and like the way you kind of connect people with each other
Hmm.
and share and give like and give platform to people as well, and all of those things.
It's because it's not about me. It's about all of us.
And that's where we're moving, like
Yeah.
Aquarius age. It's about all of us people.
Okay, what are
Okay.
you up to? What do you want to tell them about?
I'm like we can still I don't feel like to sharing too much. Like people can always book astrology sessions with me. We can go deep. We can go if it's your first session. We always go deep because I work with Pluto and the nodes and the Chiron. And then if you want monthly support like Jayme has and this validation and support and you're going through something maybe more challenging or want more guidance and validation and kind of uh yeah, like a clarity on whether you're on the path, then mentoring with stars is a beautiful
Mm,
container to be because I support you every month. We come together, and I've seen how beautifully supportive that can be to people.
yes. Yep.
I'm still learning to talk about my work, but yeah, that's kind of like those that's where I'm at the moment. And I think in because I'm in this transition myself to also calling in. So this is my intention for I'm gonna say the intentions for the new one really
Great.
quickly.
Yeah.
How we are
Go for it. Go for
want
it.
to call in a new audience that's really ready
Mm,
to receive my work. They like people like your energy is beautiful. The way you receive and are ready for the information, because I do go quite deep. Like I want these people coming through, I want to booked out sessions. I just want to be in service. And
Yeah.
to the people that are ready to receive my medicine, the information that's going to be most helpful for them. It's not about like how many of the people are, but what I'm seeing is just people coming through that are ready, like we have that contract and they're ready to work with me and they're excited and we are both excited. And when we leave the work, like when we leave the session, we are both energized and excited and grateful because it always
Yes.
goes both ways, right? As you know, like
Yes.
we work together in personal sessions. When it's the right client, it's like you both get beautiful energy and you walk away and you're excited.
Yes.
It's fun.
Oh. Oh.
My intention for everyone, like for you can take my, you can copy my intention and calling your soul tribe as well. It's gonna work.
That's here. That's happening. Didn't you tell me another one of your Capricorn friends how many of us are like feeling that? I wonder how many people really just like across the board are feeling that right now too. Like
Yeah.
and then the excitement you get when it's like it's happening back to the evidence I
Yeah.
was talking about, right? Like I am evidence of your perfect client. You are
Yes.
evidence of my perfect
Yes.
client. Like I agree
Yeah.
with the deep. Like I'm not here to have shallow talks. I'm like I'm
Yeah.
here for some deep shit, which means I want those deep people, which means we just have to shift our messaging, right? To
Yeah.
alert and our frequency to alert those people who are ready, but they're there and it's happening. We have a call
Yeah.
on Tuesday. I can't wait. We'll do all that on our call on
Yeah.
Tuesday.
So yeah, I am so ready for our call. So this is like, this is it. This is what I'm shifting towards. Like this is my shift. Yeah. What I'm like just connecting more of my people. Yeah. Okay. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank
Ladies
you.
and gentlemen, this was awesome. This was probably this was a definitely scorpionic episode, if you ask.
Very
I
much
think the
so.
only thing we didn't talk about was sex, so we'll keep that on a whole nother. What is Scorpio rule? Money, power, sex, right?
Money, power, sex, taboo,
Right.
healing.
Yep.
Definitely sex, yes, but it's like that can be another conversation. I think we covered all the things today that needed to be
Yep.
covered. There's
Agreed.
always so much more. That's why I love, like, I think
I
this will
love our
go on.
calls.
This will
Yeah.
go on forever
I
because
can't wait.
we have all the themes, like whatever. Okay, thank you so much,
Okay.
everyone. Lots of love.
We will see you on our next month's episode. Talk soon. Bye.